Silvio Gesell's speech of defense. Shylock. Jailer, look to him. Tell me not of mercy. This is the fool that lends out money gratis. Jailer, look to him. Shakespeare, Merchant of Venice, Act 3, Scene 3. My attitude towards the state, as far as it is related to the charge of high treason, is as follows. I recognize, without reserve, every power which can arrest me in the streets of the capital, which can menace me with revolver and rifle butts, incite the mob to brutalities against me, allow me to be mistreated, manhandled, spit at, insulted, and which can then throw me into jail. Footnote. Such were Gesell's actual experiences after being arrested. End of footnote. The king is dead. Hooray! Long live the king. Because such is my attitude regarding the legality of a government, I was justified in saying on that 7th day of April, when I was surprised with my nomination as People's Commissioner of Finance, as far as I can see, the power is in the hands of the Soviet government. It is possible that this government will be replaced tonight by another one. It does not require much effort. Things are moving without bloodshed. I might say almost comfortably. 1 lieutenant and 10 men would be sufficient, according to all appearances. Footnote. When the socialist power rapidly grew early this century, the East Prussian Junker von Oldenburg-Janoschau suggested in the Reichstag to have this institution of political discussion closed by means of a lieutenant and 10 men. End of footnote. Well, what should now be my attitude? Should I investigate whether there is in Munich or in the mountains or forests perhaps some other government lurking? To me, the members of a government are not so important that time should be spent in search of fleeing state ministers. The center of gravitation I seek not in the government, its external form, but back of it, in the governing forces. And these governing forces, the real ruling power, are the forces which prescribe to the government the principles for its actions. They are the economic conditions which mold all laws. If these conditions are chaotic, then also the government is chaotic, without efficiency. And such is the case today in the federal government as well as in the state governments. The governing forces have been dissolved by the war into a shapeless mass of diverging impulses, fighting, hating, and crossing one another. And until, in this disorganized, primitive matter, a new whirl of power is formed by condensation, there can be no talk of a government in the traditional sense. Lawlessness, temporarily limited by coups, such is the condition since November, both in the federal government as well as in the state governments. The primitive chaos is too great to permit the governing forces to condense into the necessary whirl of power and to give direction to the government. Besides, time is pressing for action. On the other hand, one cannot expect from the National Assembly or from the state legislature that which is so necessary to be done. This would be asking too much from governments dominated by the party spirit. The voters have no idea of the real economic situation, of the amount of destruction necessary, and the sacrifice required for the reconstruction. To begin with, they were kept in good humor from Berlin by means of money paper, and the few who correctly estimate the damage still cherish the vain hope that the burdens of the war can be shifted onto the people, that it will be possible to shift a part of these burdens onto wages, and that therefore, for the capitalists, great sacrifices will not be necessary. Consequently, if the state legislature, through being more enlightened than the voters, were to establish a financial program safeguarded by an international standard of wages, there would be fierce quarreling in the country because the voters cannot understand the necessity of such sacrifices. Footnote, by freedom of migration.